It's been years since this happened, but every time I try to talk about it, people either laugh or say I was imagining things. I know what I saw, I know what happened to me, and the worst part is, I don't think it's over. Back in 2016, my brothers and I rented this old farmhouse in rural Pennsylvania. We were in college, and it was summer break, so the plan was just to have our own little place away from the city. It was cheap, surrounded by cornfields and woods, and honestly, it seemed perfect. For the first few weeks it was. We'd stay up late drinking, grilling outside, playing music. We felt like we owned the world. But things started to change in July. It was sometime around 2 in the morning when I first noticed something wasn't right. I woke up to this faint scratching sound, like someone dragging their fingernails across a screen. My window was open because of how hot it got upstairs, and at first I thought maybe a branch was scraping against the glass. But when I opened my eyes, I froze. There was a face pressed against the screen. It wasn't an animal, it wasn't a branch. It was a pale face, sickly white, with eyes that looked too big for its head. And its hands? These long, bony fingers were curled around the edges of the frame, tugging at the mesh like it was trying to pull it loose. I screamed before I could even think, and my brothers came running into my room. The second they burst in, whatever it was, vanished. Just gone. They thought I was dreaming. Matt even went outside with a flashlight to prove it, walking around the yard. But there weren't any footprints in the dirt below my window. I knew I was awake. I knew I saw it. But I didn't argue. I just shut the window and locked it. A few nights later, it came back. This time I wasn't asleep. I was lying in bed scrolling through my phone when I heard that same creak, the sound of the screen bending. I looked up, and there it was again, pulling at the mesh. That face was inches from mine, separated only by a thin sheet of wire. Its mouth spread into this twisted grin, showing teeth that looked sharp and yellow. But honestly, the worst part were its eyes. They weren't glowing like in a movie or anything. They were just solid black, like pools of ink. I screamed again, and this time my brothers actually caught a glimpse. Chris swears he saw a tall figure in a coat bolt across the yard. He ran after it with a baseball bat, but it was so fast it just slipped into the woods like nothing. He came back pale, shaking his head, saying it didn't move right, almost like it wasn't running, more like it glided. None of us slept that night. We stayed downstairs with the lights on, talking in whispers. The next evening, Chris decided to stay up in my room with his rifle. He sat by the window, waiting. I couldn't sleep, so I stayed awake with him. Sure enough, sometime after 3, that sound started again. The creak of the screen, the scraping of nails. Chris snapped the window open and fired a shot. I'll never forget the sound that thing made. It wasn't a scream, it was like air being forced through a pipe, this hollow, wheezing moan. And then it ran. Chris swears he hit it in the leg, but instead of falling, it sprinted toward the fields, moving faster than anything human. We followed it from a distance, using flashlights, until we saw it slip into the old cemetery down the road. The place hadn't been used in years. Half the stones were broken or sinking into the ground. Chris wanted to chase it in, but something inside me screamed not to. I don't know why, but I had this gut feeling that if we went in, we weren't coming out. We turned back, but none of us spoke for the rest of the night. I wish that was the end of it. 2 nights later, I woke up to the sound of my bedroom door creaking open. I thought it was one of my brothers, but then I heard it again. That breathing. Slow, wheezy, wet. My heart started pounding, and I sat up, fumbling for my phone to get some light. And that's when I saw it. It was standing in the corner of my room, tall, impossibly thin, its head tilted at an angle that didn't look natural. I could hear the air hissing out of its mouth, see those long fingers twitching at its sides. It just stood there, watching me like it was waiting. I couldn't move, I couldn't scream. It was like my body shut down. And then it started to step forward. That's when my door flew open. Chris barged in with the rifle, and the thing jerked its head toward him. Chris fired, and that sound came again, that horrible, hollow wheeze. The thing staggered back, then hurled itself straight through my window. Glass shattered everywhere, and when we rushed to the frame, it was gone. The police came after we called, but they didn't believe us. They searched the property, but there was nothing. No footprints, no blood, no signs of forced entry other than the broken window. They said it was probably a trespasser, maybe a drug addict. But honestly, no addict moves like that. No addict stares at you like that. We moved out within the week. I still talk to the people who live there now. They told me their daughter's room used to be mine, but they ended up bricking the window shut because she swore someone kept scratching at it at night. I don't know what it was. I don't want to know. All I know is that I can't sleep with a window uncovered anymore. Even now, years later, I still wake up in the middle of the night convinced I'll see that pale face pressed against the glass, just